For the first time since winning back the White House, President-elect Donald Trump will sit down for a network TV interview with Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker. The interview will happen today, but won't air until Sunday morning on Meet the Press. The move a bit surprising to some, as Trump has rarely done interviews with mainstream media outlets, instead choosing a more non-traditional route. Friendly fire and also podcasters. Welker did sit down with Trump in September of last year. They talked about immigration and abortion. At the time, she was criticized for not fact-checking him more. She also moderated Trump's October 2020 debate with President Biden. Before the debate, Trump calling her a bias anchor and then later backtracking, praising her for her conduct on that debate stage. Why Welker, some are asking. NewsNation media contributor Colby Hall is here, founding editor of Mediaite.com. Good morning. Happy Friday. Trump doesn't agree to do anything without heavy political calculation. So what do you think is the strategy here? Well, I think Donald Trump is testing the waters to see, what his administration's relationship with the media will look like over the next 4 years. And so that's the massive takeaway here. We should learn a lot, and not really about Trump's agenda. I mean, he says the same thing over and over again. He's been very, very clear on the campaign trail. What we will learn is how mainstream media, in particular NBC News, will be treating Trump in the next administration. And we're already hearing criticism from the resistance left saying that this is normalization. You could argue pretty effectively that Trump was normalized when, he won the election. So I suspect Kristen Welker will be criticized predictably. And I'm curious to see what sort of news and what the tone will be in terms of the NBC News anchor and the questions that she asks of the president-elect. Yeah, I mean, there's so much material here. It's a tough job for her and the network executives to decide which direction to go. I mean, you've got, global conflicts happening that Trump is already getting involved in, the situation at the border, all of these nominations for his cabinet picks. What types of questions do you think they'll prioritize? I think the biggest issues that obviously his plans on the economy, although he said during an awards speech last night hosted by Fox News that he knew that the economy was a big issue with the election, but he really believes that sort of crime and immigration and deportation of illegal immigrants that are criminals is the big priority. So I suspect, the specifics of that process will unfold. And I think another issue that has been sort of all over the place, especially with his conversations with the leaders of Canada and Mexico, his tariffs. He really is all into tariffs, and I'm not sure that everyone truly yet appreciates the net effect of that. Typically, tariffs raise prices for Americans, and I think that's obviously just sort of a negotiation tactic to get better deals with Canada and Mexico. I suspect those are the questions. Again, NBC News has signaled pretty clearly that they are eager to work in a friendly way with this administration. Joe and Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski controversially went to Mar-a-Lago. NBC Universal is spinning off NBC or MSNBC. So yeah, I think this is going to be an opportunity for NBC News to show that they are less critical, less resistance, and will treat this Trump administration in a more normalized way. Finally, Colby, you wrote a piece on the Pete Hegseth nomination this morning on Mediaite. It sounds as though Trump is now speaking out even more so than he had in the past, doubling down. How much is he controlling this narrative right now as he calls Hegseth a smart winner? Well, Diana Falzone Mediaite reported yesterday that Hegseth sought and received Trump's blessing to do a media tour to sort of change the narrative. And I think what Trump said today on social media was that that was working, that Pete Hegseth is pivoting towards, sobriety and his love of Jesus and his support of Donald Trump and the love of his wife. And I think that has effectively changed the narrative. I'm not sure that the math yet is there. There's still 4, I believe, Republican senators that are on the fence. What really matters is if Trump will be willing to call those senators and put some pressure on. And the reporting I have so far is that he's not there yet. Also,
Confirmation hearings will be fascinating because there's a lot of crazy stuff out there that will come to light.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.